Hey y'all, my name is Angelica Rubio, State Representative for District 35, representing the city of Las Cruces, and this is an update. So where to even begin? I know a lot of us are walking around today feeling pretty cracked open. I know I'm feeling angry, scared, maybe bouts of numbness after what just happened in Congress yesterday. So for folks who don't know, yesterday, which was July 3rd, the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. passed probably the most dangerous, devastating, downright cruel pieces of legislation that I have ever seen. They were calling it the one big beautiful bill, but let me tell you, there is nothing beautiful about it. What this bill did was, in fact, dismantle a lot of the social safety nets that poor and working people need to live in this country. It gutted Medicaid, which helps a lot of poor communities to pay for doctor visits, especially preventative care. It gutted food assistance. So if you're on food stamps, it completely defunded that. And it goes on to essentially chip away at education, a lot of the housing stuff that we've been trying to work on, and anything related to basic care. It was all gutted, and it was all done at the same time as they're pouring billions of dollars into expanding ICE, and actually building out probably the largest immigration enforcement infrastructure that this country has ever seen. They're trying to build an army, and it's not an army of care. It's not an army of doctors and nurses or of teachers, but of ICE agents. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, this all is not a coincidence. It is all by design. This is fascism wearing a suit. It's control through fear. It's punishment for being poor, for being disabled, for being queer, Black, Indigenous, for being an immigrant, and just being alive in a different zip code. But as someone who has been serving in the legislature here in New Mexico for the past 8.5 years, I want you to hear it from me. And that is, I've had to go through really hard sessions in the past. I've had to make some really hard choices, take some really hard votes during these last 8.5 years. This bill that Congress just passed yesterday, and that Trump will likely sign today because it's the 4th of July, this bill is meant to break us. It is meant to break us. Y'all, we will not break. We will not break. I want to promise you all that here in New Mexico, we're working to hold the line. We're not following their lead. We're not following Congress's lead. We're not rushing into some reactive special session. I know there's been talks about special session, but we aren't going to be rushing into something reactive. We're not going to go out and mirror or scramble to mirror some of their own cruelty. And that matters. That matters a lot. Because when the whole country feels like it's on fire, both literally and metaphorically, the fact that New Mexico is slowing down to think, to listen, to plan, it's its own kind of resistance. Does that mean that we're safe forever? No. A special session will likely come later in the year. And if it does, we'll be ready. But we'll be ready not with panic, but with purpose, with strategy, but more importantly, with people power, your power. And that's what I want you all to hold on to today, because there's still time. There's still us. If you're feeling hopeless, I want you to know you're not alone. I'm not immune to it either. I've cried. I have felt rage. I have felt what's the fucking point anymore? But every time I feel that, I remember like my people, they didn't just survive colonization, displacement to give up now. We've always had a way out. We've always managed a way out. So this is what survival looks like right now. It looks like checking in on your neighbor. If you live in a bigger city, here in New Mexico or somewhere around in the country, or if you're in a rural community, check in on your neighbors. Survival looks like protecting each other at the grocery store, at schools, at the traffic stops that will probably be set up at some point. It looks like organizing your block, not just your social media timelines. It looks like art, like writing. I'm a writer. I'm trying to write more. Making food. Make a lasagna or something and give it to your neighbor. Choose love. Like, even if it's somebody who maybe you didn't like very much, like, befriend them, because we need each other now more than ever. It looks like resting when you can and waking up when it counts. And it looks like choosing over and over again not to give in to fascism. I can't promise you that the future will be easy, because it's not. But I can promise you this: we are not going to go away quietly. We will fight smart, we will fight together, and we will fight with deep, unapologetic love for each other, for our people, and for our land. So breathe, drink some water, call a friend, and just remember that they may have passed a bill, but they haven't passed our spirit. And they never will. Be safe.